Welcome back. Former President Donald Trump's attorneys have now filed an appeal in his civil fraud trial being brought on by New York Attorney General Letitia James. We're taking a live look here just outside of the courtroom in the courthouse. Trump's legal team is looking to appeal a pretrial ruling by the judge in this case that he had engaged in fraud by inflating the value of his real estate assets. In the filing, Trump's attorneys stated that they were contesting each and every part of Judge Arthur Engoron's ruling.
This coming as Trump himself has repeatedly accused the judge and the New York Attorney General's office of playing politics. The trial is set to resume today around 10 a.m., but the former president, again in Florida, will not be in attendance for this one, though we still have cameras there and we are still monitoring the happenings. Alan Dershowitz is a professor emeritus at Harvard Law School and author of The Price of Principle: Why Integrity is Worth the Consequences. Professor, good to see you. Thank you for coming on. Before we get to the appeal, which was widely thought was going to happen in this case, I wanted to ask you about the potential of a jury trial versus a bench trial. Both sides have said something different at some points. At one time, someone on, I believe, the AG's side, or perhaps the judge's side, let's say a legal analyst, just to be safe, had said that they could have a jury. Trump's attorneys, Trump himself, in fact, had said that he could not have a jury based on a certain statute brought forward. Are you familiar with this, and who is correct?
Well, both are correct to a point. A jury would have been irrelevant on the issue of the judge granting summary judgment. Summary judgment means the judge has the power to take the case away from the jury and say, I've decided this. The evidence is so overwhelming that a jury is not necessary to decide that case. So on the issue of the basic fraud, it's a moot question whether he asked for a jury or didn't ask for a jury. He wouldn't have gotten a jury on the issue of summary judgment. On the rest of the issues, there is some dispute. As to some of them, maybe there would be a right to a jury trial. As to others, they're kind of equitable in remedy, and there wouldn't be a right to a jury trial. So there's a little bit of correctness on each side, but the basic point is that even if he had demanded a jury trial, he wouldn't have gotten one on the issue of summary judgment.
And I think what's overall very clear, the Team Trump, his attorneys, no fans of the judge in this case, already going ahead to file an appeal. So what does this look like, considering the trial's expected to last through December?
Well, courts split on whether you can appeal the grant of summary judgment on partial aspects of the case. Generally, they say no, you have to wait until the whole case is over. But in this case, the judge granted the summary judgment, a final judgment on all the issues relating to fraud. So there may be some chance that the appellate division will consider this aspect of the case separately from the remedial aspects, but no one knows until the court decides.
Former President Trump defending himself, again, in the court of public opinion, claiming the actions he took were all by the book. Listen to this.
It's a shame for our country. You borrow money, you pay it back, the bank loves us. They said, what did he do wrong? He didn't do anything wrong. We loaned him money, a big bank. These are big banks, by the way, represented by the biggest law firms, the most prestigious, the best law firms in the country. You borrow money, you pay it back, and you get sued by a political animal. And that's where we are. And that's the way it goes.
So obviously, and like anyone who's defending themselves feels he did nothing wrong. The AG felt differently. I really don't want to go down that road with you, but perhaps maybe the AG and why she would have brought this case in New York, because there is this point where there is somewhat of a victimless crime. There is no injured party that came forward. The AG went digging around. Even the DA looked at this before and said, I'm not going to go ahead and bring this, but the AG decided to do it of New York. Do you have any idea as to why that may have been done, an opinion on the matter?
It was, without a doubt, a political decision. She ran on the promise to get Trump. And that's, the title of my newest book is Get Trump. That's based on her campaign pledge. She promised to get Trump. And if she doesn't get Trump, she won't be reelected. So I wouldn't have used the words that Trump used, but he's absolutely correct. Nobody goes after somebody who may have inflated the value of their buildings when, in fact, no harm was caused. And anybody who knows Trump knows the reason. If he did inflate the value of the buildings, they had nothing to do with loans. They had to do with he wanted to be the richest guy around. He wanted to, if he did exaggerate, he wanted to exaggerate his wealth, not to defraud anybody, but just to show off. That's Donald Trump. And so, because this law doesn't require an intent to defraud anybody, they use this law. But you don't use the law of New York to protect big banks when they can protect themselves. The Attorney General ought to be devoted to focusing on things that affect the average consumer in New York who might be ripped off, but not a big bank which has the ability to make its own decisions as to what the value of the building was. No bank was defrauded here. No bank was cheated here. That's the truth.
The AG has put a price on it, though, at least the penalties she's requesting here. $250 million plus the inability to do business for the Trumps in the state of New York. What kind of impact could this have on Donald Trump, his future business ventures?
Well, it will mean he'll move out of New York and take his business ventures to a state that isn't as political or unfair as New York. But, it could hurt him. The New York judicial system has also become very politicized. Judges are elected. They're nominated by the Democratic Party in New York City. And they, as this judge said, he did an interview some months ago. He said, look, I have tools to allow my own emotional views to be influenced in the opinion. If a person wears a red sweater or a blue sweater, I can make a difference. I wouldn't, but there are other reasons. This judge and this prosecutor are influenced by the fact that this man's name is Donald Trump, that he ran for president, that he denied losing the election, and that he's trying to win again. And anybody who thinks this is not a political, I have a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn, which is way, way, way overvalued. So there's no doubt this is a political prosecution by a politicized attorney general, the DA of Manhattan, a politicized prosecution. It is destroying our legal system. It is weaponizing our legal system for ideological and partisan purposes. And whether you're a Democrat like me or a Republican, you should be appalled at this, because today it's Trump. Tomorrow it's you.
Yeah, Professor, again, I always like to point out the professor here did not vote for Trump in 2016, did not vote for him in 2020, doesn't plan to in 2024, should that be the nomination case. Yet again, his opinions there on the political matter of, again, the court right now. Alan Dershowitz. Alan, thank you. Good to see you.
My pleasure. Thank you.